Okay, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So welcome everyone to just another piece of Raheem Talks To, and today it's Micah P. Hinson.
Ciao. Walls, you can leave them down, 'cause they'll make home of things we'll never know. And walls, you can leave them down, 'cause they'll make home with things we'll never know. And you saw me, I was running, and how little we knew then. And I saw you, you were coming, and how little we understood then. Walls, you can leave them down, 'cause they'll make homes of things we'll never hold. And your walls, please leave them down, 'cause they'll make homes with things we'll never home. And I saw you, you were coming, and how little we knew then. And I saw you, you were running, and how little we understood.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Not
Thanks
bad.
very much. And
Thank
now
you.
we have a great start. Let's see if we keep to that level.
Awesome.
I will try to have a slightly sexier voice myself, but I unfortunately I just can't do that. It's
And
just,
I will work on having a slightly
there
less
you go.
sexy
If
voice.
you could just go just a little bit higher, I'd appreciate
I'll
that.
do my best.
So thanks for being here, and let's do a brief recap of where we are,
Let's do it.
so that everyone's into it. Micah is a songwriter.
Yes, sir.
He's a songwriter. He has a record out. More of that in a minute. We've just heard one of the songs, but he's been songwriting for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
And the starting point is the American tradition, the folk, blues, and country song, in a way as interpreted by a new generation of musicians, or at least that's the way this came to our shores all those years ago. The first record you did, it was The Gospel of Progress,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes, sir.
it was one of those mysterious objects that appear all of a sudden. There's no why, there's no nothing. There's a backstory. You don't know if it's wrong or right or true or false,
Yes.
much like Bob Dylan's, and there it was. And then you kept going up until the last one. So can you tell us a little bit of how you started, where you place your music and your songwriting in this long tradition of songwriters? And
Wow, that's a big one. I thinking about back to when I was beginning to write songs as a teenager and stuff. I guess I started writing songs when I was 12, 13, 14. But I certainly never had some intention of following that line that you're talking about, following like the history of country music, the history of blues or rock and roll and stuff. For me, being from Texas, country music was a bad word. It was like saying the F word or something. It was the last thing I wanted to do was play country music, because that represented beer and wife beating and cows and all that type, which is, some of those things are okay, but the majority of that is not.
The cows part.
The cows
maybe
are good.
the cows are okay.
And I guess drinking can be okay too, depending on how you do it. But yeah, that wasn't my concern. I didn't listen to, Hank Williams and Johnny Cash and Robert Johnson. Like all these things weren't played in my home growing up. The only thing we heard was basically just John Denver. And he, of course, we talked a little before the interview, but he wasn't John Denver will never be a part of that great songwriting history, which is really a shame, but it's based on decisions that he made, I suppose. And so, yeah, I never intended to write country music. I never intended to even play an acoustic guitar. I was really obsessed when I was a kid. I was obsessed with the typical 90s, My Bloody Valentine, Skinny Puppy, Nine Inch Nails, of course, Nirvana, Mudhoney, all those things. But I guess in the end, being born in Memphis, Tennessee, being raised in Texas, I suppose it was in the stars. I guess I had to play country music. But through those years of learning and figuring out what I was trying to do, I think I fell onto the true idea, the true spirit of folk music. Folk music is not just some white guy playing an acoustic guitar. Folk music is the idea of taking something that's given to us in the past and taking that and morphing it and making it fit into the future, whether that is individual songs that you bring or whether that even could be the feeling of something. And so for me, yeah, folk follows very strict rules. And unbeknownst to me, through those years that I was doing, I guess I created my own folk music, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of the beginnings of my life. And then, of course, like you're saying, The Gospel of Progress was released, and very poignantly, as you put it, what was true and what was untrue. And that's been something that's kind of been something that's been following my whole life. And I think the idea of who I am and how I've been seen, that's still something for me that's tied up into the Tomorrow Man. Because I think stories about me, I believed some of these things, and therefore by believing it, it changed my attitude and it changed my actions towards some things. And I realized not long ago that those things weren't serving me, that I don't know, country man of mystery or whatever. It didn't feel good, And so this is, I guess now I'm sitting here and trying to find a new day and a new way of being myself, I suppose.
That's very interesting, because it brings us to the two phases of folk music. One is very personal, very intimate, true or false, let's leave that aside. The other is communal and more sharing of songs, sharing a tradition, continuing a chain of songs that began long ago and we see no end, because everyone can pick up a guitar, give it a go, and maybe, just maybe, dig into that well of inspiration that has brought us so many songs. So let's jump right straight to the last record, because the last record is surprising in a way that nuances are surprising, because it's still you, it's still songs. But from, at least from a listener point of view, it embraces an idea of easy listening music, of more nurturing music. That takes us back more to maybe more to Frank Sinatra than Hank Williams, more to a kind of song that is associated with a word that means nothing, which is crooning and crooners, but those days means nothing. It is a way of singing, but it doesn't define the music. And can you tell us a little bit if you do recognize this and how the new record came about musically?
Oh, Jesus! The first part of that. Man, how do I answer this? The first part of that, I didn't. Kind of with these realizations I was telling you that I was having about my past, my past self, the way I was written about, the way I saw myself, the way, more importantly, the way I truly was. I didn't want to keep, just releasing. I don't know if it's fair to myself, but I didn't want to keep releasing just the sad songs written by some sad boy in some small room, and oh my God, he's so tortured and all these things like that type of stuff. Maybe you're going to be remembered for that, but for me, that's not. For me, that there's nothing very timeless in that, and so it's not with this new record that it's like, okay, this is how I'm gonna change the things that I do. This is where I'm gonna head. It was more like, what can I do to be remembered, if I'm gonna be remembered more as a singer, songwriter, be more of a singer, more like in the tune of, Roy Orbison, and you said Frank Sinatra and these things. But that's that's a ridiculous thing for me to say, because I'm just some Chickasaw hillbilly from Texas, and in no way does my name, should that go against the Frank Sinatras of the world. But yeah, I just wanted to make something try to make something a little bit more timeless, and that sounds like a stupid word, but something like that. But with saying that, I don't think that the way that I approached the songs was a new way of doing it. At the end of the day, it was me on an acoustic and singing, and those are the songs, and it was just a matter of how we wanted to present it, and working with my producer Asso. He has amazing equipment, he has an amazing mind, a beautiful heart, and so we were able to work together to find that. And then of course with Rafael Tiseo, he conducted the orchestra, and it all came together in a very beautiful way. But it certainly wasn't. It's a surprise to me that it ended up this way, because there's no way for me that I could have set out to do this from the beginning,
Thanks. That's clear. And let's take a small break with the Nat King Cole for a couple of minutes, and then back with Micah Hinson.
Awesome.
I was walking along, minding my business, when out of an orange-colored sky, flash, bang, alakazam, wonderful you came by. I was humming a tune, drinking in sunshine, when out of that orange-colored view, flash, bang, alakazam, I gotta look at you. One look and I yelled timber, watch out for flying glass. Cause the ceiling fell in, the bottom fell out. I went into a spin and I started to shout, I've been hit. This is it, I-T-it. I was walking along, minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye. Flash, bam, alakazam, out of an orange-colored sky. One look and I yelled timber, watch out for flying glass. Cause the ceiling fell in and the bottom fell out. I went into a spin and I started to shout, I've been hit.
This is it, I-T-it.
I was walking along, minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye. Flash, bam, alakazam, out of an orange-colored purple stripe, a pretty green polka dot sky. Flash, a bam, alakazam, and goodbye. Wow, I thought love was much softer than that. What a most disturbing sound.
Welcome back.
Oh, that was a hell of an ending on that song. Wow, incredible. I've never heard that before.
It's a wonderful song.
Really nice.
Yeah, I really like it. That's good. And let's talk Italy for a second, because do you speak Italian?
No.
Oh, we could do the reverse language interview where I spoke English and you spoke Italian, but no.
It would be silent.
There you go.
It would be silent.
Well, it's a thing, maybe. It's a conceptual thing. We tried another time, and but Italy, yes, it does play a part in your last record,
Of course.
and it plays a part in the recent music you've put
course.
out. So, can you tell us how it came about? So, from Texas prairies.
Man, yeah, it's strange. So maybe not strange, but it's interesting. Like my label, my agency, my producer, my band. Yeah, I never thought that I'd wake up in a world where I was just surrounded by so many Italians. So it's news to me, man. But the story of Jesus, the story from Texas all the way to being here today is extremely long, a long story. But there's something about philosophizing this. I mean, there's something about the Italian nature that I don't know if it's who you are as a people. I don't know if it also has to do with a lot of the history, the fact that your quote unquote your civilization has been several different things, but it's been around for a very, very long time. But there's a way with that you guys figure out what you enjoy, and you figure out the things that help make life a little easier, and you do it with great aplomb. You do it with very exactly. And so, yeah, when I hear the record and I hear working with, to me, in my ears, it doesn't sound like an Italian record, but it's Italian in the sense that everything that is there serves the beauty, I guess, lack of a better word, the beauty of the album. And I find that really interesting. And coming from Texas, of course, I come from immigrants that, we failed in Scotland, and then we went to New York, and then we failed in New York, and we just kept failing and moving across the nation that we were apparently building. And so that's part of my story. But then the other side, I'm a Chickasaw Native American. That's why I have this crazy long mohawk. It's historically accurate to my people. And speaking of civilization, we really just have whispers of what our civilization was, because our language, our dances, our songs, fucking everything that made us who we were was illegal, was highly illegal until the 1970s. And so to keep that language and to keep those songs, we had to keep them hidden for hundreds of years. And so finally, when the 1970s hit and we could start doing that stuff, we could finally figure out what had been remembered by the elders, and we could do our best to make that grow again. And so this concept of civilization, yes, the Chickasaws had a civilization, but 1,000 years was spent, having sex with my grandmothers and burning our villages and killing our people. And so my perception of what civilization is very different. Of course, it'd be very different from how you see it. And so that's kind of, and for me, that's a big thing, being Chickasaw and figuring out what that means, especially inside the body of a white man. I find that very fascinating, and I think when you listen to my music, it would serve you good to think about that, and to think about where I've come from and the people that I've come from. Because even though it doesn't sound quote unquote Native American or Indian or whatever you want to call this, the soul of that is certainly there. 15,000 years of my people is still inside of my heart. And it's just trying to figure out how to speak. But yeah, that's generally some ideas about what you're saying. I think it's pretty big.
No,
I think,
it is, and thanks for sharing this. And one of the songs you brought, because Micah brought us also some songs to listen to, that's The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down.
Yes.
And Robbie Robertson, too, was very versed and very active in Indian tradition, but still seen as a white man with a guitar.
Of course.
But in the whole tradition of what we call American music, because for want of a better word, because when it comes to Europe, we see it as American music. You can feel a lot of streams coming to the same sea. And I wanted to ask you, before maybe we'll have a listen to The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down.
Beautiful song.
Beautiful song, oh boy. What's the difference between the US and Europe in terms of welcoming the music and welcoming the musician? Because what I've noticed speaking to musicians over the years is that what we perceive in Europe as being, let's say, very relevant and well-known musicians were in fact not, I'm not saying struggling, but fighting in the US, whereas here it was the other way around, even if they were essentially Americans. And on the way back, and that's what you said earlier, which really fits into that, many musicians that ended up being traditional to our ears, I'm talking about Grantley Phillips, I'm talking about Josh T. Pearson, which we were discussing earlier, are super into new wave from Europe around 1980s, 1990s.
Yes, sir.
So there's this dialogue going on, and you are a prime example of that with all your. So,
yeah, I don't. That's fishy business, man. I'm touring. I'm finally doing some shows in the States in January, but it's been, my God, I played like one show in the north of my country, maybe like 2.5, 3 years ago. Maybe like 30 people showed up. But before that, it had been, maybe it's been 15, 16 years or so since I've done an actual tour of the States. And so, oh man, when we talk about the States and Europe, that's a bit of a difficult thing.
Nowadays,
man,
especially,
nowadays, but the things that we're seeing nowadays, those things aren't new. Those things have always been in my country, and they've always been inside of my people. We just, the people had a good enough sense to be like fucking ashamed of these things, you know. And
they keep them in the closet,
themselves. And then now we're living in this time where people just say whatever they want. But of course, that can be separate from the music. But yeah, I feel that people like Josh Pearson, I think Europe was a place of hope for us, because even though Josh P. Pearson is a perfect example. Let's say he's in Texas and he's playing his songs. Yeah, nobody is like him. Nobody's like Live to Experience. Nobody's like what he's doing, but it's the cowboy hat and it's the cowboy boots and it's kind of this country way of doing things that it feels so familiar, I guess, to hillbillies in Texas or in the States, that they almost, I guess, they find it important to ignore it or not give it any space. And so with that, he was able to come over to Europe and become, at least maybe to a lot of people, but at least in my heart, to become a legend. And somebody that goes down in the history of Texas music. But I guess that's a beautiful thing of kind of this world culture that we have, is that you can be historic, but you're historic because, and Texas is just a part of you. It's not, you're historic in Texas. I don't think I'll ever get any recognition in the States. I don't think I deserve it, and I don't think I want it. Maybe more importantly, I find, I mean, dude, I come here to Europe, I play shows, and people generally listen, and they sit, and they, we're gonna share this time together. People get emotional, maybe they cry, maybe we feel something. There's magic. But man, I mean, of course, I'm looking forward to playing these shows in January, but I know that the soul of that will not be there. I will be singing over people. I will be attempting to but yeah, there's something in who a person from the United States are, and I know we call them Americans, but that's not even true. That's just another thing that gringos in the North took for themselves, and they say so casually this word American. But yeah, there's something about my people that is. It's hard to say this as a big blanket statement, but there's something about my people from where I come from that is innately wrong. I think we are a group of homeless people. Like I was saying, people failed in Europe and they go to the States and they go to the East Coast and they fail there and they keep moving. And then we reached California and nobody could go anywhere. Maybe we went a little bit further to Hawaii, but there was nowhere else to go. And so that's how I view a lot of the states. We're a land of generational failures. And with that, it's hard to know what you believe in, and it's hard to know what you find important. And so from there comes the Christianity, and there comes the religion, and from there comes the oppression of women, and from there comes the oppression of natives, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oppression of homosexuals, the oppression of everything. And so, yeah, I guess I've spent a lot of time philosophizing what it is to be from the United States and try to figure that out. But in the end, I sound really negative, but in the end, maybe some of that is good to exist because we can look at those things and come to terms with the things that we do not want to be as humanity.
Yeah, and then
we need an example.
And then break the circle and maybe
yes.
maybe go somewhere else.
Hopefully so.
I for one thank you for your philosophizing.
Awesome.
So let's switch to music for a bit.
Indeed,
Otherwise
sorry,
we get too high,
oh
and
my
then
goodness.
the listeners just go, "Oh my
Yes,
God, I
yes.
can follow,"
This
and it's a
guy.
problem. So let's just get to Robbie Robertson and the band back in 3 minutes. Thanks everyone.
Virgil Kane is the name, and I served on the Danville train till Stoneman's cavalry came and tore up the tracks again. In the winter of '65, we were hungry, just barely alive. By May the 10th, Richmond had fell. It's a time I remember oh so well. The night they drove old Dixie down, and the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and the people were singing. They went la 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 la. Back with my wife
we're back with Micah, and taking a cue from the band, let's talk about listening to music. Then we'll get back to doing music, playing music, and writing music. But do you listen to music? Do you listen to it a lot? Do you pay attention to it? Or is that separate from your own, let's say, path through song?
Yeah, I listen to music all the time. I'm kind of going through a crisis right now because I don't know how to find or get into or even like a lot of new music, and so it's a lot of like looking back. But then of course it comes a time it's like, dude, I've listened to these albums so many times. What can I do? And so I think I spend more of my time searching for new music in the past as opposed to the future. There must be some good things happening now, but I can't find them. I struggle with that.
Yeah, because it's your ears. I mean, it's your ears and your ears. So it's both years and years of age. Because there's too many ghosts from music past that populate music now. That's what happens normally. But of course, there's
some stuff going on, man.
No, there's loads of stuff going on. But when I listen to a new song, today I'm 49, I just go, yeah, that's like A, B, C, and D.
Of course.
And once you went there, the gut is gone. The gut feeling's gone. When you meet a song in your 20s or 30s, it's just that song. Who gives a shit if it's similar to whatever?
And
maybe.
And now we're of the age that things were popular when I was a kid in the 90s. Now those things are becoming hip again, and they're moving. So I've seen like a big thing about like a shoegaze movement and stuff, and that for me is really interesting because shoegaze was in the way I saw it, it was never a movement. It was like these few particular bands.
It could, but never did.
Yes.
It seemed like it was going to.
But just a handful.
But just, yeah.
But then now it's like, oh, we're shoegaze. It's interesting to like see people calling themselves that. And I wouldn't even be sure of Kevin Shields. I would be surprised if shoegaze ever came out of his mouth.
I don't think so.
You know?
I don't think so.
But one thing that shocked me recently, on a big star standard, the new Rosalia song, I heard that just like 2 days ago. And that was the most shocking thing I've heard. I mean, it as weird as it sounds, because it's pop stars. I'm supposed to be serious. Of
course.
But dude, it moved me. It almost brought me to tears. It was like, wow, this is like really intense, beautiful, something going on, and that made me feel really, I guess, happy that there was things that could be created, especially by some of the biggest artists in the world, that could hold emotion. Because for me, pop music and emotion they never seem to really go much hand in hand. And so yeah, there's new things and there's things to be found. But hell, I guess I'm just an old man talking about the 90s,
There you go, and your former self. But let's do that. Let's do a 1 minute Rosalia just now, so that people. There you go. So that people listen what we're talking about, and then back to melancholy and folk music.
Awesome.
There you go.
The only way to save us is through divine intervention. The only way I will be saved. Divine intervention.
I'll fuck you till you love me. I'll fuck you till you love me. I'll fuck you till you love me. 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 Love me. Till you love me. I'll fuck you till you love me. I'll fuck you till you love me. Love me. Love me. Love me. Love me.
So thanks for bringing Rosalia to our ears, or at least to my ears.
She doesn't need my help, man.
Because
you know?
yeah, I know, but in my case,
Of course.
she needed because I had no idea of this, and now I'm hooked. So live music.
Yes, sir.
Live music for two reasons. One, for a brief commercial space, which I will take into my hands. Micah starts his Italian tour on November 14th and will be in Milano, Santeria on November 18th. So everyone rush
Yes.
to Santeria on November 18th and somewhere else starting from the 14th. I don't have it here, so but I think that I can Google it, find a place, and
Yeah,
come.
we'll be in Rome,
And
Milan,
there we
Torino.
go.
Sì.
So all over the place. I've seen him play live before here in Milan a couple of times. I can only tell you. Go and back to you. So what's playing live to you? What has been over the years? What's good concert? What's bad concert for you?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, live, for me, it's changed a lot. When I first started, my first album, When the Gospel of Progress came out, I remember my label asked me if I was interested in playing live, like it was an option.
Maybe, yes.
Like, well, we'll get you on the radio, do these things, we'll sell these records. You don't got to play live if you don't want. Of course, that seemed absurd to me. So of course I played live, but now we're in a space that's almost the exact opposite, to where, yeah, playing live, being out on the road, doing this stuff. I mean, that's the way that in the end I make my living. It's not from the selling of records anymore. And so it's been a lot of, in the 20 years, I've had to learn a great deal about that. But a good and a bad show, man, bad shows can happen anytime. They're not super common. I remember actually, maybe this was the last time I was in Milan, or maybe the time before that. And for people that don't know, that are just listening to me, I have the sides of my head shaved. And before the show, they wanted to charge me an obscene amount of money at a local hair place
barber shop.
at a barber shop
Yeah.
to shave my head. I think they wanted like 45 euros. And I'm like, get out of here, dude. I'm not paying you that much money to shave my head. But but at that show, it was an awkward gig for me, and I really think it had to do with the fact I didn't cut my hair, man. And so, but other than that, I feel like shows go really, really well for me and my band, where, we run off of emotion more than precision, and. Yeah, I think that leaves a lot to be interpreted by the audience, interpreted by us. That we're not surgeons when we go out there, and so yeah, I love playing with them. But luckily with that, we don't. It's very rare that I step off the stage and I'm not moved by the people I perform with. To be able to take my songs and to breathe their own life into them and help me accomplish what I want to accomplish. There's no greater honor, I don't think, that I could have. But yeah, I love playing live. I would love to play more always. I could probably be on the road for 200 days a year if they allowed me, But yeah, that's some stuff about the live, absolutely.
So will you treat us to a song?
Of course.
Which song and why? And then it's all yours. I'm moving the microphone here.
Yeah, this song, it's called "Oh Sleepyhead." It opens and closes the Tomorrow Man album. The story, I originally wrote it for the woman that ended up being my wife, and I wrote it because she was just a sleepy human. but through the words and my daughter, of course, I started to sing it to her, and through time it's become, because my daughter is very far away from me. It's very difficult to see her. But this song, for me, I sing it to her every night when I'm with her, and it's a thing that binds our souls together, I suppose, because life has taken really interesting turns. We're not what you might consider like the normal family, I suppose. But yeah, I love this song, and I'm really glad I wrote it. I can die happy now. Here we go. Wake up, sleepyhead, it's early morning, and all our lives are new. And cheer up, sleepyhead, it's still morning, and I'm disappointed in Jesus too. And we don't have to feel so sad. We don't need to be so mad. Listen up, sleepyhead, I'm so sure you can hear me as the stars turn around me and you. And chin up, sleepyhead, it's still morning, and I'm disappointed in Jesus too. We don't have to feel so mad. We don't need to feel this mad. Awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a great song. That's great.
And thank you so much.
And the one at the end of the record is even better than the one at the beginning.
You like the
yeah,
the
I like the
reprise.
two. I like the reprise. That's one. But lullabies do that to you. If a lullaby is a good lullaby, then there's no escaping it.
See,
It
yeah.
follows you around.
Yeah, I've never felt as close to doing something that could be featured on a Disney movie. I've never felt.
There you
I've
go.
never felt that close.
Yeah,
you know?
but with Tom Waits on it. You know, not so a Disney movie, but not cast in the role of a princess.
Indeed.
More.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Yeah, really beautiful stuff, man. Really lucky to hear a full orchestra playing something. Yeah, that I sing to my wife, that I sing to my daughter. It's very special. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
And let's end talking about the future, which is a weird concept, but it's what comes after what we're doing, so it's worth at least considering it.
Yes, sir.
So with this record, you are in a new place musically, at least, and it does mark a before and after in your music.
Yes,
and where are you headed to? Do you know it? Are you lagging it? What's the situation?
I mean, I think this. I mean, certainly, I feel that it shows a new side of my music and the things that I can have and move forward with in the future. But also, I feel, maybe more importantly, that it feels that me, myself, my soul, my humanity, my understanding is in a much different place. I think with, you have like maybe 2 records ago, you have the record, The Musicians of the Apocalypse, and that for me represented a very dark time, almost the end times of my musical career. But then you have I Lie to You, and that shows that maybe it wasn't quite done, maybe there was a possibility. And then for this, it's for me, it proves that there are things to do, and there are things to say, and you don't have to be held down by a lifetime of influence, by people, by Jesus, by the church, by parents, by wives, ex-wives, all these types of things. But yeah, I just found that that a lot of stuff that I'd learned and a lot of the stuff I'd been taught, they just served to make me kind of feel like shit, and they served to teach me a lot of things about shame, and through shame you find loneliness and all these types of things. And yeah, with this record, I've never been. I mean, saying that I'm happy, that's going a bit too far. I'm not sure we're ever truly happy.
Yeah,
but, But I've never felt so maybe content is the word. Or I feel very okay with who I am, and I feel okay with where I'm going. Again, you said that the future is difficult, so I'm not sure what that's going to be. But if I can feel that inside, and I can wake up in the morning and not feel like the end is nigh, that's a beautiful thing for me. And I think, and that's the thing. I talk about myself, and of course the songs are autobiographical to a degree, and this stuff. Of course, you're in interviews, and I'm talking about myself, and I'm talking about my life. But the Tomorrow Man isn't me, the Tomorrow Man is everyone, and the Tomorrow Man isn't just a man. The Tomorrow Man is a woman, is a child, is a human, and hopefully the things that I have learned in my life and the things I strive for, hopefully I'm speaking to people that want the same things. And being 20 years into a career, hopefully I've kept company to us old folks now that have tried to be decent people, and hopefully I've kept people company and in their journey, because I wouldn't be here without everybody. So yeah, it's for me, it's not just music. For me, it's life, and it's the understanding, it's the misunderstanding of everything.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you.
And with the future, we are nearing the end, but a relative end, because it's just the end of the interview. We did speak about Live to Experience earlier on, and we decided we'd play you a song, but we won't, because we don't have time, and we want to close on another note, but it's worth mentioning.
Awesome, yes.
Live to Experience, Justy Pearson, the Texas, Jerusalem, and Crossroads. If you don't have it, or if you haven't heard it, just go do it. That's our suggestion.
Absolutely.
For the immediate future. Yes. And for the broader future, just a beautiful song, and a big thank you to Micah Hinson for being there, playing for us and philosophizing with us and answering to our songs.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much. Thanks everyone for listening. Saluti a tutti, and that is Louis Armstrong.
the time in the world, time enough for life to unfold all the precious things love has in store. We have all the love in the world. If that's all we have, you will find we need nothing more. Every step of the way will find us with the cares of the world far behind us. We have all the time in the world just for love, nothing more, nothing less, only love. Every step of the way will find us with the cares of the world far behind us. Yes, we have all the time in the world just for love, nothing more, nothing less, only love.